podcast. And this is Brittany Renner, guys.
Oh, boy.
So, well, hold on. I'll give you guys a quick little intro to who this girl is. You want to give them the little background on who she is, bro?
Yeah, man. So if you're in any type of social media space, you know Brittany Renner. She's been seen multiple times giving advice to ladies how to finesse athletes, celebrities. And it's more like she's giving people advice to live her lifestyle. But at the same time, her lifestyle isn't always the best and enjoyable for herself. So it's funny to see her make these videos because deep down, she's kind of sad herself, but at the same time, it's fun to watch.
And actually, before you pull this up, pull up the Spotify video real quick. So for some of you guys that are wondering, we actually did an interview with her on DJ Academics podcast back earlier this year, called the Off the Record podcast, guys. And we did a show with her. We did a talk. We had a discussion about intersexual dynamics, her situation with PJ Washington. I gave her some practical advice. And the one thing I told her was, you're kind of in a situation now where you've dated rappers, you've dated celebrities, you've dated very successful men. You really can't go backwards. No. You're kind of fucked. And Donovan, you want to talk about that a little bit when it comes to women dating?
Brittany Renner is not kind of sad. Brittany Renner is fucking miserable. She is. Let me say it again. She is fucking miserable. If Brittany Renner could turn back the clock and do it all over again, I promise you she would do it differently. Every video that I see, she's always in her car. It's like, oh, these haters. Oh, you guys didn't think of that. Oh, you think I'm miserable. No, Brittany Renner, dude, she can't even stand to look at herself. And somebody said something about a narcissist. Brittany Renner is not a narcissist. Brittany Renner's a lot of things. Stupid isn't one of them. It's fucking over for her because it's just like you said. She's dated rappers and athletes. She can't go backwards. Here's the problem. The men that are forward don't want anything to do with her. Cam Newton, Kirby's like, bitch, I'm not trying to be in your book. Any man with any common sense is not, nobody is trying to be Brittany Renner. Brittany Renner she's really trying to be who I think Selena Powell was kind of trying to be. I remember you and I did a video on Selena Powell's thought training. Like, hey, I'm going to teach you how to be a girl like me.
Yeah.
Ladies, if you want to accomplish anything in your life, you cannot listen to Brittany Renner. No matter what she says on camera, on her TikToks, or whatever the case may be, that woman is fucking miserable, and she knows it. Do not let her try to convince you or anyone else that she is happy with her life. She is a fucking miserable human being, and in her mind's eye, in an honest moment, she would admit that. 100%. There's nothing, dude. I'm telling you, she is clinically depressed.
Yeah, I think see, the thing is that she's teaching women kind of like how to cruise for a bruise, man. And what I mean by that is that and the other thing too is that I don't think women understand this. We're going to talk about this also with the second thing we're going to break down. Once you deal with a certain caliber of guy, it's nearly impossible to go backwards.
Yes.
And the thing is that the older you get, the likelihood of locking these kinds of guys down comes down with it. And then I remember when I was having this interview with her, I told her, like, why didn't you just make it work with PJ? Well, he wanted to go out and fuck other girls. That was her biggest concern, biggest thing that she disliked. And that's to kind of like let her know, like, if you're with a multimillionaire, an NBA player, a celebrity, whatever, they're going to have sex with other girls. Like, this is what comes with the territory. You think a guy's going to bust his ass to become a professional athlete, a multimillionaire, an entertainer of some kind, just to have sex with you? By him, that's it? Like, guys that rise to that status do not practice monogamy. They don't. And if they do, they're fucking lying most of the time. 99% of the time, they're going to have sex with other girls. And you just got to deal with the territory.
In conversations dealing with relationships between men and women always like to say, oh, the fragile male ego, the fragile male ego. Now, there could be some truth to that. But women are the ones with the ego. So much so that if a man they're with has the audacity to stick his cock in another vagina, the world ends. If other people know about it, right? The girls will sit here and say, again, they'll sit here and say, well, if he were to cheat on me, blah, 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 blah. That's because you're acknowledging it. If he were to cheat on me, in other words, if I were to find out, if everybody else were to find out, because at that point, if you get caught cheating, now your woman has to be seen doing something about it, right? Because if other people know about his cheating, her friends and family, well, okay, well, what are you going to do about it? Okay, well, I guess I'll dump him. And then 2 months later, well, we worked it out, blah, 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 blah. As long as she doesn't know about it, women, they very rarely admit that. But deep down inside, they would admit to themselves, you know what, as long as I don't know about it, then I'm good with it. And that speaks directly to the woman's ego. Confidence comes from within. Ego comes from the outside. This is why women are so adverse to a man cheating or exercising options, because in public, that's a slight against her. What does she have that I don't have? All of a woman's confidence comes from the outside. That's not confidence. That's ego. You don't puncture confidence because it comes from within. You puncture a woman's ego. And what's the quickest way to puncture a woman's ego? Fuck another bitch and let other people find out about it, which is why Brittany Renner was feeling some type of way that PJ Washington was fucking other bitches.
Well, yeah, I mean, girls get so mad when I say this. I always say, like, a woman's primary agency is her looks. Yes. Oh, not really, blah, blah, blah. Well, why do you all have fucking makeup on right now? Why is it even during a pandemic, you're going to risk your freedom and potentially getting sick with the, the disease? We'll just call it the disease, right? Right? Because I remember back in March of 2020, no one knew what the hell's going on. Everyone was like, oh, shit, what's going on? I knew girls that were sneaking into hair salons and nail salons to get their shit done, because beauty is that goddamn important to the point where I'm going to risk everything to go ahead and look better, right? House calls, all this shit. They didn't give a shit because women know deep down their primary agency comes down to how they look, bro. There's a reason why they have filters. There's a reason why they take a million pictures to pick one. That's what it is. So a girl being with a successful man, there's no better embodiment to her validating her presence than being with a successful guy. The problem is that they don't understand that there's plenty of beautiful women. Beauty is common. That's right. This guy is rare, and it amazes me because when we actually do the female delusion calculator on the show, and the girls punch in what they want in a guy, almost every girl is scoring like 4 to 5 cat bags. Of course. For some of you guys that are wondering, like, what's a cat bag score? It's basically a score of how delusional that woman is. They always put a guy in the top 1%. It's ridiculous, dude.
I've said this for years. The reason why women so nonchalantly, okay, he's got to be 6 feet tall, he's got to make 6 figures, he's got to have a 6-foot dick, and this and that and the other. He's got to be ripped. He only has eyes for me. The reason for that is, and I've said this, I've been saying this for years. Most men are sexually invisible to most women. Facts. So when you ask any rank and file woman, who cheats more, men or women? Well, of course they say, well, men cheat more. No, women cheat more. Women cheat a lot fucking more. The reason why they think men cheat more is because they're only thinking about the top 10% of men. What percentage of men are over 6 feet? 60, 70%? Wrong answer. 14% of men worldwide are over 6 feet tall. The reason why they think it's 60 to 70% is because they only visually, sexually see that percentage of men. What women need to understand, and I don't think they'll understand it in this generation, but what they need to understand, just like you said, beauty is common. These 1%ers are rare. Where the disconnect with them is they don't understand that the lens through which they view sexual relations is only with the top 10% of men.
Facts.
That's why when you ask these women anything about men versus women or women versus men, their answers are so skewed because they don't even realize that the average rank and file man is literally invisible to them. That's why they're shocked when they hear you guys say stuff like that.
And the thing is that they have a privilege of not understanding these realities because men come to them. So I've always said it like, women are in a privileged position where it's like the guys come to them, so they don't necessarily have to understand or know what's on the other side.
Right.
Men, on the other hand, as the hunters, have to know, right, and understand, more importantly, what's on the other side.
That's right.
If a guy doesn't understand women, he's not going to get laid.
Nope.
Like, it's just not going to happen. You're going to have to understand how she thinks, how she moves. A lot of the times, you're going to have to be 2 to 3 steps ahead of her so you can deal with sexual objections, bring her back to your place. Your place is clean. You have it set a certain place. You have music set, all this other shit.
Yeah.
You're basically handling objections before they even come. It's sales, right?
Yes. Oh,
but
100%.
With women, they don't understand what it takes to be attractive to other women. And we have a game on the show all the time where we reveal this. Oh, I can get girls. It's not that hard. Really? Fantastic. Let's go into a scenario. You pick the scenario, and I'm going to be the girl. And it is amazing to me, Donovan, how we literally give them similar objections that regular girls give. Oh, I don't give my number out. Or,
it's fucking crickets.
I'm here with my friends.
Yeah.
Or I have a boyfriend or whatever. We give them simple objections that girls give to guys every single day. They don't know how to handle it.
Nope. They don't know how to handle it. I'll tell you what, you guys should do an experiment. It might be like a 2-part episode. Have these girls who think that they can get bitches, have them create a Tinder profile as a guy and then get back with me. Have a Tinder profile as a guy and deal with the fucking bitches on Tinder, on dating apps, and then come back to me and tell me that you can get bitches. I promise you it'll be a different story.
Alexander Grace did that on an experiment. The girl nearly cried. A girl made a profile. She actually used his pictures.
Yep.
And said she was a psychologist, all this other shit, or about to become a psychologist. And she was floored.
She's like, oh my God, they're so flaky. Blah. Welcome to our world, man. Yeah. But just like you always say, we don't expect women to ever give a shit or care about our plight.
No,
we're just letting you guys know how it is.
They never will. I would argue as technology gets better, as the sexual marketplace becomes more and more globalized, women are going to have less and less and less incentive to understand and or care about what men think. Because at the end of the day, they don't really give a fuck what normal guys think, and they don't give a fuck what most guys think in general.
Yeah, I would just say once you know the truth, don't get mad at it. Understand it, accept it, and you know what? Cool. Now I know how women operate. I'm going to adapt and maneuver for my best interest. But I will say you brought a very good point, ego.
Yes.
So when it comes to ego, right, with women, that's it, 100%.
Yeah.
You know what? Here's my standards. You should meet my standards always. And it's funny because I added one more thing to that, hope. So what happens is, right?
Oh, good, good, yeah, good, yeah.
I ask girls all the time, for example,
wow.
okay, if he cheats on you, you leave. Cool, what's next? Well, I found another guy that won't cheat. I'm like, yo, the guys that you want, the top 10%, they're probably gonna cheat.
That's right.
So you're gonna leave one man that's treating you good, that chose you to be his girl, but another man he's gonna cheat too. What's next? Oh well, I hope I'll find one that doesn't cheat. Once again, ego and hope. That's the two biggest thing there. That's all they have.
That's a fantastic point.
This is why I tell guys, when you reach a certain level, you're gonna fuck other bitches. Just don't listen, man. Girls don't really care. No matter what they tell you on this set at this very table, they really don't care. The reason why they say they care is because in public, they have to say they care. Because it looks bad to say, well, if my guy cheats, I don't care. That makes them look bad to other women. No, if my guy cheats, I'm going to fucking leave him. But deep down inside, she knows she's not fucking going anywhere because the women that the top 10% of men have chosen, they know their dudes run around on them, but they choose to turn a blind eye because they understand what position they're in. They really don't care.
Women don't want to accept the fact that the reality is men are going to cheat. Their ego once again says to them, you know what?
There you go.
You're a bad bitch. You got your own thing going on. Why should you be cheating? And it's funny because if you break it down even further, they know it's happening. They just don't want to accept it.
And they don't want, well, it's not that they don't want to accept it. They don't want to verbally acknowledge it. They'll accept it, but they won't tell anybody. Yeah. They'll say, okay, I know he's running around, but as long as he doesn't fuck her in my house, as long as he doesn't give me STDs, knock anybody up, as long as she doesn't have to acknowledge it out loud, they're okay with it. They don't even have to verbally acknowledge that they're going to be okay with it. This is why you cannot ask women, if a guy cheats on you, you're going to leave him? She has to say yes. Otherwise, she looks stupid. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, the ego thing, I'll go back to the ego thing. Once again, that comes from the outside. If my guy cheats on me, how's that going to make me look? Oh my God, she took back a cheater. Oh my, what's wrong with her? Yeah. That's all. Girls have the biggest egos. Men, we have egos to an extent, but what we accomplish comes through confidence. And I think you said confidence.
Competence leads to accomplishments, leads to confidence. Women don't earn their egos. No. Men do. That's the difference. Like girls get mad. Oh, you have an ego. Men earn their fucking egos.
Right.
Women don't, bro.
No, they don't
at all.
Women get all their ego. If the only reason why women know they're attractive is because the world tells them they're attractive, right?